Greetings, caregivers, friends, loved ones, all. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Remembering Me, and today we have a very special episode. We are going to be looking at the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. What I will tell you is this is just a movie that I don't know if you were a child of the 70s. I was but a thought and an imagination, not yet born when this movie first came out. But I came along not long after. Anywho, this was my Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This is what I watched. Wonderful. It was just a really good film. What I am doing today, though, is breaking apart just a couple of scenes that are going to focus on the caregiver in this movie. So I'm going to tell you, we're going to dive in. We're going to look at this information. We're going to learn a little something about ourselves, some tips, just 5 tips. And so it's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And my subtitle is The Caregiver and the Not So Golden Ticket. Some of us have gotten more than we may have bargained for. Some of us might be getting ready to embark upon the journey and just need to know what could be ahead and how to prevent, protect, guard against those scenarios. So without further ado, we're going to get ready to get started. I am going to share, and let me tell you right now, I am new to StreamYard, so you're going to give me just a tiny bit of patience, but we're going to go in here and share this screen, and we're going to dive into this movie. I think you're going to enjoy this experience. So let's just dive into the very first scene.
He works too hard for a little boy. He should have some time to play.
Not enough hours in the day. With the 4 of you bedridden for the past 20 years, it takes a lot of work to keep this family going.
If only his father were alive.
As soon as I get my strength back, I'm going to get out of this bed and help him.
Dad, in all the years you've been saying you're going to get out of that bed, I've yet to see you set foot on the floor.
All right, so let's look at one last comment he's going to make.
Maybe if the floor wasn't so cold.
All right, so Charlie's getting ready to come into this scene. Let's hit a couple of points that I think is important. So one of the things you'll notice is there were 4 adults in bed. 4 adults in bed that needed care. Bedridden for 20 years. This is a freebie. This is not even one of the points, right? But I need you to understand that caregiving, you need to go into it like it's a marathon. Sometimes we go in with, I won't say guns blazing, but 110%, right? Fighting with doctors, double checking, holding everybody accountable. I'm at every appointment. I'm doing everything. You are a true superhero, which is great if it's a short-term gig. But what you're finding is your loved one's care, maybe their health may be deteriorating. One of the things people will experience is they come to live with their loved ones, right? And all of a sudden they're getting healthy meals. They're drinking more water. They're doing things. Their health improves. They live longer. And that caregiving journey can end up, nothing wrong with it. These are positives, but you cannot go into this like it's a sprint. You need to prepare that this could be a very long journey, and make sure you safeguard and protect yourself and put the right infrastructure in place so you don't burn out, fizzle out too soon. All right, so I am going to go into our very first point, which is make sure you have a community. What I will say I see as a flaw with this particular caregiver, and we're not here to critique her in the sense of judging her, but what can we learn from her? It's 1 woman, 4 adults, and if you don't mind, we're going to just take and look at this screen one more time. The minor child. You see him get ready to come in? A minor child. So she has a heavy load. In this entire movie, you never see a pastor come by. You never see a friend come to see her. There's no neighbor that drops off a loaf of bread. We find out in this scene that the young man is actually working. He just started working. One of the comments was, he should be able to play, and he doesn't have time to play. Caregiving affects everyone in the home, but you need to make sure that we're not adultalizing. We're not forcing our children to grow up so they miss out just on the basics of what it means to have a childhood, because we need so much help that we need them to come along and caregive for us as we caregive for others. All right, it's an interesting concept. We can certainly dive into that more, but we're going to keep this short and sweet. The second thing I want to make sure that we call out in this scene, Grandpa Joe was the one that made the comment, like, don't let me get out of this bed or whatever. And she's like, you haven't been out of this bed in 20 years. And he says, well, the floor is cold. It's an interesting kind of foreshadowing, because Grandpa Joe, spoiler alert, click off if you have not seen this movie, not sure what rock you've hidden under, or you're extremely young and you just have not had the privilege. But Grandpa Joe finds his legs and is indeed able to walk. So the comment I have is, make sure your loved one does all that they can physically and capably do within reason. So you don't want someone out here riding a bike, right, just because they technically could, if they don't have good balance and things. What we want to make sure is, if he can get up off the floor, do you know he could have passed out bowls of cabbage water? This is coming up in the next scene, as that's their dinner. But if he can use one hand, he can wash his face with one hand. He can wash his underarms. He can wash this half of his body. Make sure that whatever the loved one can do to support you, so you're not doing so much that we don't allow them to support us with the things that they are able to do, right? And it's different for different people. But if they can brush their teeth, let them brush their teeth. If they can feed themselves, let them feed themselves. It might make a slight mess, but it not only creates independence, it allows them to be supportive, but it also hopefully releases some of the burden and weight on you. All right, so this next scene we're getting ready to play. Let's see, Gary, to pull it back up.
Wake up! Wake up! Charlie's home.
Grandpa George, Grandma Georgina, Grandma Josephine, Grandpa Joe. Is this your supper, Grandpa?
Well, it's yours too, Charlie.
I'm fed up with cabbage water. It's not enough.
Charlie.
Not cabbage
What do you
soup,
say?
cabbage water.
How about this?
Charlie, where'd you get that?
What difference does it make where he got it? Point is, he got it.
It's my first payday.
Good for you, Charlie. We'll have a real banquet.
Mom, here's what's left.
Great kid, right? Doing what he can to support his
Except for
mom,
this.
his family.
From now on, I'm going to pay for your tobacco.
No one's going to pay for it, Charlie. I'm giving it up.
Come on, Dad. It's only one pipe a day.
When a loaf of bread looks like a banquet, I've no right buying tobacco.
Go on, Grandpa.
All right, we're going to stop there. So this is important because this is showing us the extreme lack that this family has. And so I called out, it was cabbage water, not cabbage soup. Cabbage water, which means there was no broth, there was no meat, there's nothing in it but cabbage and some water. And this young man has had to take on a job to help support his family. So really, like I said, he's starting to become the caregiver for his mom, who's the caregiver, to try to lighten her load. Be careful when your children are supporting you so much that they don't get to be children, right? We want to make sure that caregiving is something that we do. We want to desire to do it, but we don't want it to rob a future generation of their innocence, their youth, and trying to kind of fulfill these roles. All right, and so now we're going to fast forward to another scene, and give me 1 minute to get there. And this scene is just going to be quick and interesting. I think it's an important scene. Okay. And this one right here is just all too familiar. Look at what it is.
Charlie, what are you doing here?
I thought if you were ready, I'd walk you home.
I wish I were. But it looks like I'm going to be here late tonight.
Well, then I guess I'll be going.
All right, so just super quick, I just wanted to call out that not only this caregiver got 4 adults and a minor child, meager scraps, cabbage water, she has a job that doesn't look like a part-time job that she's working on the side. It looks like a full-time job, and she's got to work late. So I'm looking at this woman, and I can't imagine that she has much more in her, not just from endurance, like can she keep doing it, but physically. Caregiving can wear on the body mentally, physically, emotionally, all the things. And so she needs to make sure that she's safeguarding and protecting herself, because I don't know what she has in the tank to give if she's working late and doing all. This woman is exceptional, but she also seems, and from what I'm seeing and watching this show, she also seems to be suffering in silence, not having that support network we talk about. All right, this next scene, and this is our last scene we're going to look at. Running. He has now found the golden ticket.
Look, everybody, look, I got it. The kid's golden ticket is mine.
You're pulling our legs, Charlie. There aren't any more golden tickets.
No, Grandpa, the last one was a fake. It says so in the papers. I found some money in the street and I bought a Wonka bar and the ticket was in it.
Charlie.
Look at it, Grandpa. See for yourself.
Read it, Joe, for heaven's sake.
Greetings to you, the lucky finder of this golden ticket from Mr. Willy Wonka. Present this ticket at the factory gates at 10 o'clock in the morning of the first day of October, and do not be late. You may bring with you one member of your own family, but no one else. In your wildest dreams, you could not imagine the marvelous surprises that await you. Charlie, you've done it!
I can't believe it. Grandpa, it says I can take somebody with me. I wish you could go.
I'm going to stop it right there. And let me tell you why. Of all the people in the room, we've got this caregiver who has given everything. And Charlie doesn't look to his mom and say, Mom, I think you should have a break. This would be wonderful. You've done so much for everybody. And I wonder why, right? Grandpa Joe, he loves him. This is his grandpa, right? They talk together and he's been encouraging him on finding this golden ticket. What I will say is sometimes as caregivers, we can be so busy that people don't even ask us to go to the movies, to go out for coffee, to hang out, to go on the trip, the cruise. You understand? We've said no so many times, or in their own mind, they've said no for us. Oh, I don't want to like put that up in her face. And I know she's been so busy caring for, right? Make sure you communicate to your network and let them know, hey, invite me to everything. I may not be able to come. I probably won't come to most things, but you keep inviting me because I will be out there. And then you have to actually go to something, right? Make sure that you don't lose your community by drawing into yourself where all you do is caregive, work, caregive, sleep, or scroll incessantly, right? As a way to just try to gain some level of control in your life. You've still got to get out. You still have to have friends. You still have to live your life. You are a very important person, right? And that's going to bring us, so, the scene will end with Grandpa Joe hopping out of bed miraculously, dancing and all the things. And so we talk about whether or not he could have done that and what he needed to have done. So certainly support our loved ones. But the last point I want to make, point number 5, that you've got to take care of you. It's mandatory. It's not optional. You cannot burn the candle at both ends and think in some way you're going to be effective at what you're doing. You are going to burn out if you don't care for yourself. So that's the thing we have with our community, Remembering Me, community of caregivers where we can encourage one another, hopefully find an ability to do a self-audit. Am I going down the wrong way, about to end up where I don't want to be? Am I on track? Do I need to step back? Do I need to ask for help? Do I need to demand help? Sometimes you ask and people are happy to say no. And you might need to say, no, I'm going to need this, right? This is not optional. So I put all of that out there because these are just 5 tips that we've learned. When we look at this caregiver, and I see it as she is suffering in silence. Her family is blessed, so blessed to have her. She's doing, as they say, God's work. But I look at her life and I don't see a friend. I don't see a dream. I don't see a life that she's living outside of dedicating and laying herself on the altar of these loved ones. And all I'm going to challenge you is that God has given you a purpose. He's given you a destiny, and it is not acceptable in the name of doing what's good to avoid doing what's best. And what's best is His will for your life. And so I want to make sure, don't get caught up being good for everyone else, burning out, risking your health, and not honoring what's best, your purpose, your gifts, your callings. All right, that's it. 5 simple lessons that we've got. And I look forward to many more lessons to come. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to taking this journey with you again in the future.